Sarah Mitchell had always been careful with details. At 58, she prided herself on being organized, methodical. But that Tuesday afternoon at Chicago O'Hare, fatigue from visiting her daughter clouded her usual sharpness. She grabbed what she thought was her black rolling suitcase from the carousel and headed home, eager for a cup of tea and her quiet apartment. It wasn't until she tried to unlock the case that evening that she realized her mistake. The bag looked identical to hers, but the lock wouldn't budge. Her heart sank. Inside her actual suitcase were the hand-knitted blankets she'd made for her new grandson. 6 months of careful work, every stitch holding her love. She found a business card tucked in the side pocket. James Crawford, CEO, Crawford Industries, a local number. Sarah hesitated. CEOs were busy people, important people, but she had no choice. She dialed, her hands trembling slightly. Hello? The voice was warm, not at all what she expected. Mr. Crawford? I'm terribly sorry to bother you. I think I accidentally took your luggage at the airport today. I have your bag and you must have mine. There was a pause, then a gentle laugh. Mrs. Mitchell. Sarah Mitchell. Well, Mrs. Mitchell, I've been sitting here wondering whose grandmother makes such beautiful blankets. I opened the case thinking it was mine, and found treasures instead of my boring business clothes. Sarah felt tears spring to her eyes. He'd seen her work. Those are for my grandson, my first. He arrived 3 weeks early while I was visiting. Then we need to make this right immediately, James said. I live in Lincoln Park. Where are you? Evanston. But I can come to you, Mr. Crawford. I'm the one who made the mistake. Nonsense. I'll come to you. And please, call me James. I was just sitting here feeling sorry for myself anyway. A drive would do me good. An hour later, Sarah's doorbell rang. She opened it to find a man in his early 50s, dressed casually now in jeans and a sweater, holding her suitcase. His face was kind, with smile lines around his eyes that suggested someone who laughed often. Despite the expensive watch and the polished demeanor, there was a weariness in his expression. Sarah, I'm James. He handed her the suitcase gently. Your blankets are safe. I didn't disturb anything else once I realized my error. Please come in, Sarah said, surprising herself. Something about him seemed lonely, despite his obvious success. It's the least I can do. I have coffee on. James hesitated only a moment before stepping inside. Sarah's apartment was small but filled with light, photographs covering every surface, bookshelves overflowing. Your family? James asked, studying a photo of Sarah with 3 grown children and several grandchildren. My pride and joy, Sarah said, handing him coffee in her good china. Do you have children, James? His face changed, becoming softer and sadder at once. A daughter, Rebecca. She's 26 now. We don't speak much anymore. Haven't for a few years? Sarah recognized that particular pain. She'd seen it in friends, that ache of distance from a child. I'm sorry, she said simply. I worked too much, James said quietly, staring into his cup. Missed recitals, birthdays, parent-teacher conferences. I kept thinking I was building something for her future. But I was missing her present. By the time I understood, she was grown and angry, and I didn't know how to bridge the gap. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Sarah did something that surprised them both. She opened her suitcase and pulled out a small blue blanket. This was the practice one. Not quite perfect, but it's warm and made with love. Would you give it to Rebecca? Tell her it's from a grandmother who believes it's never too late to reach out. James looked at the blanket, then at Sarah, his eyes glistening. I couldn't possibly. You can, Sarah said firmly. Sometimes we need permission to try again. I'm giving you permission. And this blanket, well, it's easier to offer a gift than just words, isn't it? James took the blanket carefully, holding it like the precious thing it was. Why are you being so kind to me? You don't know me. I know enough, Sarah said. I know you laughed when you found my blankets instead of being annoyed. I know you drove across the city on a Tuesday night to return them personally. I know you're carrying hurt about your daughter. That's enough to know you're a good man who made mistakes like all of us do. They talked for another hour. James told her about Rebecca's love of painting, about his late wife who died 5 years ago, about how the company that had taken so much of his time now felt empty. Sarah shared her own stories, of raising 3 children mostly alone after her husband left, of the years of struggle and small joys, of learning that love expressed is worth more than any achievement. When James finally left, he hugged Sarah at the door. "Thank you," he whispered. "For the blanket, for the conversation, for reminding me that it's not too late." 3 weeks later, Sarah received a package. Inside was a watercolor painting of a sunrise, vibrant and hopeful. Signed, Rebecca Crawford. A note read, "Dear Sarah, Dad told me about you and gave me your beautiful blanket. It helped us start talking again. This painting is my way of saying thank you for your kindness to a stranger. It changed both our lives. With gratitude, Rebecca." Sarah hung the painting where the morning light would catch it. Sometimes, she thought, the wrong luggage is exactly right. Sometimes our mistakes lead us exactly where we need to be. And sometimes, kindness offered to a stranger creates ripples that heal wounds we couldn't even see. She picked up her phone and called her own son, the one she'd been meaning to call all week. It was never too late to reach out. Never too late to say I love you. Never too late to try again.